Okay, so I know that I've already done a story called Me and the Babysitter, and you guys absolutely crushed it. Like, you guys are loving that story like crazy. And knowing you guys do, honestly, love that story so much, I think it's time for me to tell you guys the other time when I had a babysitter. And I know you guys are probably gonna be like, oh, no way, he's just gonna repeat what happened last time. Trust me, guys, this story does get intense and is insane. Like all the videos on my channel. But still, this story is gonna be insane. And like I always say before I tell the story, make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Seriously, this channel is full of amazing things. And also follow me on Instagram. If you guys don't, you guys are weird champ Andes. Literally. Anyways, like I always say, let's get straight into this crazy story. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba, and welcome back to Me and My Babysitter, or Me and My Hot Babysitter. I never really described my last babysitter, and you guys still love that video for some reason. So here's me with an actual attractive babysitter. But the way this happened, knowing my last experience of Me and My Babysitter, it kind of changed things up, and I have to basically explain it. So I remember back when I was a kid, my parents had a babysitter before. You guys can watch the first part of Me and My Babysitter. That was that babysitter. This next babysitter was, I want to say, like 4 months later, and my parents were gonna go on a trip. And they needed someone that would come to the house regularly to basically check in on me. So I remember my parents would go and ask my neighbors to help out, but that didn't end up working out. So I remember my parents looked online for a babysitter, but they didn't want to find someone young and attractive because, well, we all know what happened last time. So my parents ended up finding this old lady that was like in her 30s that basically had children and was an old woman, basically come over and babysit me. Obviously, at first I didn't really care because, well, as long as they weren't gonna annoy me in my day-to-day life of me playing video games and beating my meat left and right, everything's okay. But then I remember the day when my parents were leaving and stuff, they all like kind of like got together and they started like talking and giving me the ground rules to make sure, you know, I take care of the house and everything, basically giving me the manly talk. I don't know, I felt like I was gonna be like the kid from Home Alone. Anyways, I remember the babysitter ends up coming in, and it was the old lady. It was just a simple old lady, not attractive, nothing. Like, I wouldn't go 10 feet near her, and if she offered me a sandwich, I'd probably throw it out the window. But I remember basically she came in, she basically grabbed my cheeks and squeezed them as hard as she could, and she's like, we're gonna have so much fun. Great, is what I said. I don't know, I wasn't happy. And I remember my parents, they kissed me on the cheek, they said goodbye, and they left for their cruise or whatever vacation they had. And well, me, I was just at home. I remember the babysitter would come, she would go, and this was like happening for like the first like 3 days of her coming over and just checking in on me, feeding me, doing all the babysitting stuff she should, and then leaving. But then I remember on the 4th day, it wasn't just the babysitter. The babysitter walks in, and then I realized that there was a really, really hot chick right behind her. And like, this wasn't a chick that like I didn't want to not be near. Like, she was hot as hell. So I remember I walked downstairs and I'm like, hey, like, what's going on? She looks at me, she's like, oh, like, you're out of your room. Welcome, come, let me feed you. And I remember her, like, I guess granddaughter, I'm not sure, I don't know if it was her daughter or granddaughter, basically looks at me and says, oh, like, hi, like, how are you? She like shakes my hand all nervous, but she was hot as hell. So I remember I was basically talking to her. I'm like, yeah, you know, I live here. I sleep on that bed. That's where we do our laundry. Yeah, you already know. I was basically giving her a house tour, and it was so funny because I remember my babysitter, like the actual babysitter, the old lady, was kind of like catching on that I liked this girl, and I was getting out of my room because of it. Because, you know, the only thing that can get me out of my room back in the day was food and, well, girls, I guess. So I remember she's all like happy and stuff, and she's like, oh, like, come sit down with us, I'll feed both of you. And basically, you know, we started just chilling and doing that. I started to get to know more about the girl. I started to talk to the girl. I ended up getting her Snapchat, and yeah, one thing led to another. I instantly just kind of, I don't know, I was happy. I was like, damn, like, this is a W babysitter. She's got a hot granddaughter. Anyways, they got up, they ended up leaving, and I was like, you know, basically snapping her left and right, saying like, hey, like, what's going on? How are you? What's up? You know, basically just hitting her up. And me knowing I was a kid, I probably hit her up in the most awkward way possible. Like, I think I probably sent her like 3 dinosaur pictures and a picture of my Turtle Beach headset. I don't know, I was super awkward. But going on with the story though, basically she like started talking to me and stuff and being nice to me. And I remember the next day when the babysitter came over again, she didn't bring her daughter. Her daughter wasn't there. Our granddaughter, I should say. Sorry, I keep saying daughter. I'm still not sure which one she was, but going on. She wasn't there. The hot girl that I liked wasn't there. And I was upset about it. I was like, what? Like, where is she? Where's your hot granddaughter? She looks at me and she's like, oh, like, she's coming later on today. She's very busy right now, but she's gonna come in later and I'm gonna go home early. Oh, okay, bet. That sounds good. Okay, yeah, you leave and she come here. W. Yes, I agree with this method, is what I told her. An hour goes by, she feeds me, she does all her babysitting duties and leaves, and then boom, the next person to come into the door was her granddaughter. And it was a W, because I remember she came inside. I basically walked her around the place, and you know, I sat with her on the couch and we started talking about school and stuff like that, because she wasn't that much older than me. I think she was like only like 3 years older than me. So like she was in high school and I was still like, I think middle schoolish. And basically she was flirting with me and stuff. I'm not gonna lie, she was. I know she was. She wanted me, and like basically I was flirting with her. I don't know, I was a kid. I think I was just kind of like mesmerized by how attractive she was, so I was kind of just playing that part of she wants me, and I guess she found it cute to the point where I remember it was the funniest thing where she was like, oh, like, do you want to like show me your amazing room? I told her, damn, hell yeah, I want to show you my bedroom. I take her upstairs to my bedroom, and when I did, I remember she saw my Xbox, she saw my gaming setup, which was just a monitor and an Xbox, but still, she saw my whole entire room, and then I showed her my bed. When I showed her my bed, I pointed at it, I'm like, oh, like, come sit down on my bed. She came, she sat down on my bed, and I remember me, I was super nervous because that was like one of the good times when I actually wanted a chick to come into my room, and I kind of like put my arm around her, and I grabbed my Xbox controller. And I instantly started playing Xbox with her. Realized that she played video games, and she actually enjoyed video games. So me and her were playing video games, and then I realized that midway through playing video games, she put her hand on my thigh, and when she put her hand on my thigh, she was getting closer and closer to me, and I was like, you don't want to play video games anymore? She looked at me, she's like, I mean, I don't see a point of playing video games when we could be doing, I don't know, something else. I started smiling, and I instantly knew what she was talking about. I remember I saw this on the internet, well, on the Devil's Hub, but that's not the point. I was like, hell yeah, okay, I see you, girl. And the thing that ended up happening was, well, you guys will have to wait till the next video. I'm sorry to do this to you guys, but if you guys do want the next part, make sure you guys do leave a like, subscribe, and well, follow me on Instagram. Seriously, it means a lot when you guys do. And you know, it makes me realize that you guys do want more of these amazing stories. But trust me, this story does get really good and really hot, or sweaty, I should say. But yeah, like I always say, fall for more embarrassing stories. All right, peace out, guys. Okay, so before the story starts, I just want to mention that this is one of the part 2s that I need to get out of the way. And if you guys don't know, I made a promise to you guys in the earlier videos that I promised I would not do any more part 2s. So here it is, me doing my part on this YouTube channel. And by the way, I will apologize, the part 2s were getting annoying. But I mean, other than that, if you guys saw the title of this video, yes, this is me and the hot babysitter part 2, the one that you guys have been waiting on for a while now. But before we do get into the story, like I usually say in every video, make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Seriously, it means a lot when you guys do, and it gets me time to tell more of these crazy stories and make your guys' day happen, or make you guys hear about my day that has happened in the past. You know what? Never mind. Anyways, let's just get straight into this. What is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba, and welcome back to another crazy story. So this story, like I said earlier, if you guys haven't seen part 1 of me and my hot babysitter, I highly advise you guys going to watch that before coming to this one, because if you guys don't watch that, it won't make sense to how we got here. Anyways, last we left off, I remember basically this hot babysitter was right beside me, and she put her hand on my thigh, and she told me, I was wondering if like you wanted to do like something else. And like me sitting in my room playing video games, I was like, do you not want to play video games anymore? Because, you know, in my mind, I was thinking, oh, like I thought that's what she wanted. Because I remind her, I was just an innocent little kid, not gonna lie, or not like little, but like I was pretty young. And then she looks at me and she's like, have you ever like done anything with like a girl before? I look at her and I'm like, I mean, I play Iron Man levels in Lego Marvel Superheroes, and like I saw Pepper Potts. She was only wearing underwear and bikini on. By the way, this was Lego game. I know, weird, but going on. She looks at me and starts laughing. She's like, no, like silly, like I mean, like actually like do something. I look at her and I'm like, yeah, like it's not really me, to be honest. Like I don't know. And she looks upset and she's like, okay, fine. And then after that, she stands up and then she instantly takes off her top, like her literal shirt. And then I'm just seeing two cherries going, whoa. I'm mesmerized and I'm like, holy cow, dude. Like the last time I saw those when I was a baby, when I saw my mom's. Anyways, going on though, I remember when she was doing that, her old, I think grandma, or like I don't know, the person who was actually supposed to babysit me that my parents hired ended up walking into the room out of nowhere. Just out of nowhere, dude. Like it's like she teleported, and she instantly saw what was going on. She's like, honey, what is going on here? You must leave right now. Put your shirt down. What are you doing? And then she looked at me and she's all upset with me. She's like, what are you doing? Look at my granddaughter like that. You cannot be doing stuff like that. Who do you think you are? And me, I'm just looking. I'm like, that wasn't me. It wasn't my fault. She wanted it. Like, I don't know. Like, I was just confused in the whole situation, and she instantly grabs her daughter or granddaughter by like the shoulder and drags her out. Me, I'm just kind of sitting on my bed thinking, do I want to finish this level? Do I not want to finish this game? I don't know. I have no idea. And then I ended up getting up and then going to the staircase and then looking down at the staircase and seeing her yelling at her granddaughter. Her granddaughter's like, but mom, like he's like super cute, and like I don't know, like, you know, we're always at his house, and like he wears like tighty whitey still, like he's just innocent. I'm just trying to get him some fun. Then the grandma, or like the grandma, or basically my actual babysitter, says, you can't be doing that. He's just a little boy. Do you know who you're messing with? You can't be doing that to my clients. How dare you do something like that? You're going home. I'm taking away your phone and no more live streaming with your friends. Live streaming with your friends? I remember in my head, I'm thinking live streaming with your friends? She was a streamer? In my mind, I was kind of excited to hear she was a streamer. But let's just say later on in the video, you guys will understand what kind of streamer she was. Anyways, going on with the story, I remember I was just kind of like going back up in my room and basically sitting there. And then the grandma comes back up to my room and she says, I apologize about what happened. And I just want to say that it won't happen again. Okay, cool. Yeah, sure, whatever. I don't know. I was going to say basically that I wanted it to happen again, but I didn't want to make that side comment because back when I was a kid, I don't know what it is with teenagers. They like to make side comments under their breath, but it's just not worth it. Then I want to say 2 days went by. My parents still weren't home and I was still home alone, just kind of doing my own thing until I got a text message on my phone that, well, my parents gave me for emergency cases. So the only people that were able to contact it was either one of my siblings, my mom and dad, or this really old grandma babysitter. But I don't know where I got a text from the grandma saying, hey, like, what you up to? I look at my phone and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Why would she ask me what I'm doing? Oh, maybe she's just doing her job. I texted her back saying, chilling at home. Yeah, I literally texted her like as if she was like a teenage girl. And then after that, she messages me back saying, do you want to like me come over and like we can like play video games again? I look at my phone and I'm like, play video games again? We didn't play video games. Oh, that's when it instantly clicked in my head. It was the girl that originally wanted to do the Devil's Tango and showed her cherries at me. So I remember I'm just like kind of sitting there thinking, do I reply to this? Is this a test? I don't know. So I messaged her saying, I mean, if your grandma's cool with it, I mean, sure, like I don't see a problem with it. And instantly she's like, oh, like she doesn't know how to have her phone. Like I'm gonna delete the messages, but like, yeah, I'm coming over like right now. So I was like, okay. So apparently this girl ended up taking the bus all the way straight back to my place without her grandma knowing. And this was like, by the way, like late at night. This was like after like the grandma's shift. So this was like, I want to say like towards like maybe like 7 to 8:30. Anyways, I hear a knock on my door and I go downstairs and I instantly open my door. When I opened my door, I saw it was her and she was not wearing something that I don't think her grandma would want her to wear. But she came in and she's like, I'll be your babysitter tonight. And I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah. And then she comes upstairs with me and basically me and her, we basically got close. We sat beside each other. But before we did anything, I had to ask her the question. I straight up asked her, looking at her straight to her face, hey, so like your grandma said that you were a streamer or something. Do you like live stream? She looks at me. She's like, oh, like, how'd you hear about that? Like, I don't actually like stream, but like, I'm pretty good at streaming. And I'm like, oh, like, what games do you play? When I said games, she looked at me like kind of like with a question mark on her head. And she's like, games? I'm like, yeah, like, do you like play like, you know, Call of Duty? Do you play CSGO? Do you play like any like, you know, top quality games? Are you an indie streamer? She looks at me. She's like, do you like ever like go on the internet and just search up like what types of streamers there are? I'm like, yeah, like gamers, obviously. She looks at me. She's like, no, there's not just gamers that live stream. And funny enough, if I would like to calculate this to nowadays, it is true. It's not just gamers anymore. There's a lot of chicks out there that just go into like bathtubs and stuff. I still don't understand. Honestly, I still want to do like a hot tub stream. I did one time. It was really fun. But sorry, I'm getting off the topic here. Going on with the story, I remember I looked at her and I'm like, what do you mean? What kind of streamers there are? She looks at me and she's like, you know what? Like, let me show you what I'm good at. She gets up and takes everything off. And then from there, me and her, we got straight to doing the Devil's Tango. But the whole time, knowing I was super young, I remember I was like basically laying there like a dead body on the bed. And yeah, like I literally had my arms to my side and I was just laying there like a dead body. It was pretty weird. It was pretty awkward as well. Then out of nowhere, I remember I hear a knock on my door and I'm like, what's going on? I go downstairs, I open my door as the girl's upstairs getting dressed because she's freaking out, panicking. And when I do, I remember the door opens by itself. I didn't even open it. And it was my parents, the grandma that was supposed to be my original babysitter, and the cops, the literal cops. I was just kind of standing there like, oh, this is not going to be good. My parents walk in. They're like, Papa, like, we need to talk to you right now. Like, what did you do? And I'm like, I didn't do anything. And the cops go upstairs and instantly find the chick basically getting dressed and basically handcuffed her and took her straight downstairs. Apparently, she was a streamer that was like evading taxes. And apparently, she was like a Devil's Hub streamer at such a young age. Like, she was in high school. I have no idea. And yeah, long story short, my parents at that point was just like, no point of getting a babysitter until one of my siblings got born. Then let's just say a babysitter came back and it was awkward because I was much older. But that's a story for another time. It's not another part. I'm saying that right now. But anyways, guys, that is basically it for today's story. So make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Seriously, it means a lot when you guys do. And like I always say, follow for more embarrassing stories. Peace out, guys.